Good morning and welcome back to the Weekend Gardener. Back down the plots today. We've managed to finish the raised beds finally. I've had a little bit of a tidy up, got rid of the stones that I've sieved out and a few bits of plastic that I found around and about. So now I'm going to make a start on trimming down the raspberries. They're autumn fruiting, so I'm going to trim them right down to the ground, and they've started to spread a little bit. So I'm going to dig out any roots that I don't want. I'll just give them to the other plot neighbours if they want them. And I'm going to see if I can put some sort of border. I've got some slabs and bits of polycarbonate to hopefully stop the roots from spreading, and I can keep them contained. So that's the plan for today. Let's get on with it. But first job I'm going to have to do before I can even get to the raspberries is sort out this netting. I'd have some plastic clips which hold it in place, but they seem to have all, most of them have popped off. So I'm just going to cable tie it in and then make a start. As you can see here, I put some plastic polycarbonate sheet in on this edge to hopefully stop the raspberries from spreading. And I did put some roofing tiles at the back, but I'm not sure if they've gone deep enough. So I'm going to trim this section along here behind these retaining wires, and then any in the back I'm going to dig out, and I'm thinking I'm possibly going to put myself a door in the middle so I can get in to get to both sides of the raspberries, because last year I had to crawl underneath the wires to get in to get the raspberries at the back. I don't want to be doing that this year. So I'm going to get my tools, get the wheelbarrow and get trimming. I'm going to be careful because there's lots of little ladybirds and bugs that are overwintering on these canes. So I'll make sure I don't disturb those too much. I managed to do the first section, weeded it. I've not done it perfectly because there's lots of ladybirds in there, and I've also found a piece of polycarbonate that I can possibly use for a door, but the rain's started to come down now, so I'm going to have to call it a day. I won't be doing any more filming anyway because it's just, I don't want to get my phone wet. So I'll see if I can come up with some ideas for the door and have a go at that maybe tomorrow, or it might have to be next week, so I think we do rain all day tomorrow. But I've got a little bit done, little and often, that's what they say. While I was taking shelter from the rain in the polytunnel, I was having a look to see if I could figure out how I'm going to get hold of a door, and I remembered that I got one on the plot that I'm giving up. So I contacted the people that are having the plot off me, and they were quite happy for me to take it, so I've just unscrewed it and brought it down here, and I'm just going to offer it up now to the fruit cage, see if it's the right size. If not, I might have to modify it a little bit, but that'll save me a lot of work and possibly a little bit of money. There we go, almost perfect fit. The only problem is it hinges in and not out, so I could just turn it round, I suppose. But once I've moved the raspberries out of the way, it doesn't matter if it moves in or out then. So I'm going to see if I can find some lengths of bar to put into the ground, then fix it to the bar so the bottom of it isn't in contact. I might even be able to get that in today. I've just held the frame in position while I'm working with a little plastic clip just to get it so it stops falling over, but it's not really strong enough. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fabricate myself some little P-clips so I can hook the top of the frame over the aluminium bar. I've got some aluminium strips that I can use. I'm just going to bend it around a bit of rod that I can find, hook it over, then I can screw it in, and that'll just be a hanging door then. And then once that's in, I can secure the bottom to this piece of wood that's running across. I put that wood in so that when I'm trimming the paths, I don't rip up the netting. As you can see, I learned that lesson the hard way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take these two strips of aluminium, I'm going to bend them around a tube roughly 3/4 of an inch in diameter, and then sit them over the top of the post. Very similar to what's there already, they'll just be a lot more sturdy. I'm hoping that the door frame will give the cage a little bit more stability as well. So I'm just going to take some measurements and get going. It's not the finest work I've ever done, but it'll do the job. It'll hook over the top tube, and considering I've done it with a rusty hammer and a lump of metal bar, I think it's come out pretty well. So I'll just make another one, hook them over, and I think I'm going to detach the door from the frame, get the frame fitted first, then reattach the door to make sure everything's nice and plumb and square. And now we have a door at the side of the fruit cage. I've not cut the netting or anything yet, but I've put the lock on so it locks in place. It's pretty stable. And because it's covered in mesh anyway, the wind shouldn't affect it too much. But I've got to head off now because I was meant to be home at 1 o'clock and it's currently 2:15. So I may be in trouble when I get home. Welcome back. It's a lovely Sunday morning. It's dry for the moment. I'm sure it's going to rain later. But what I want to try and get done today is I'm going to dig up the raspberries because I managed to get the door in yesterday successfully, but I can't actually open it because there's a raspberry plant right behind it. So I'm going to dig all those up. I'm going to put the polycarbonate in to hopefully retain it and stop the roots spreading. And then I'm going to take the spare raspberries that I dig up to the communal area so anyone can take them that wants them. So I'm not going to hang around too much. I don't know how long we're going to get before it does actually rain. So I'll get started. Now this is what I was expecting to find. The section where I haven't put the roofing tiles in, one of the raspberries has just sent a runner straight around the corner and that started growing. That big patch in the corner that I've just dug out have all stemmed from there. Well, we now have a fully functioning door and I've given it the first dig over to get rid of as many roots as I can. So I had to drop I think it's about a quarter slab in there because some of the roots have got through to where the pear tree is, so I'm going to have to move that crate. It was only temporary measure anyway, and weed through there and get as many roots out as I can. That's the pile of raspberry canes that I'm going to be putting into there shortly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dig it over again, starting from this end, work my way all the way across, get out as many roots and weeds as I can, level it off, and then put some root membrane. I want to see if I can go a little bit lower as well with the path, so that any roots that are near the surface, they'll just air prune themselves, which means that they'll grow as far as they get to the air. Then when there's no soil anymore, they'll just stop growing, and that should prevent the spread. But I've got most of it out now, so it should be easier to maintain.